Outdoors. We are a professional blacksmithing business. We make knives primarily, but we do some other stuff. And this is not my first attempt at making a business. I started making businesses that were insane and crazy by the time I was probably 8. So when I was 8, I wanted to mow lawns, which was very smart for an 8-year-old running around town with a lawnmower. Then I hit about 14 and I started knitting. I knit a lot. So a while back I started doing blacksmithing. I have learned my entire company's organization and how to do everything pretty much from YouTube. I stayed up late nights for hours on end watching people make knives on YouTube, people doing tutorials on it, people doing blacksmithing projects. So I pretty much credit the internet with everything that I know about my business. I started my business pretty much with $20 from Christmas and an angle grinder. I went down, bought it, and this is a way that I think that a lot of people should start their business, is when you buy enough material to make one item, you sell it, then you take that money and you make 2, and then you make 3, and then 4, and then 5, and 6. And you go on, and now today I have about $1,000 worth of equipment in my shop that I have not taken out any loans for or anything. When you get started in making a business, especially as a teenager, you really have to sit down and think a lot. One of the most interesting things you have to think, one of the hardest things you have to think about is your target buyer. Starting up a business as a teenager, honestly, talking about your age probably isn't the best thing to do. When I started my business, I'm on Facebook. I don't tell people my age. It's not relating to their business. Because a lot of people will look down on you. So if you're a teenager and you're doing a business, you can milk the fact that you are a teenager to get a lot of free stuff, honestly. And then you can go on and move on to being online where people don't know you, they don't know who you are, and you can sell your stuff and people will actually look at the quality of your item instead of who you are. Advertising in today's world is vastly different from how it has been in the past. You go into marketing classes, the marketing classes are doing well at catching up with today, but if you go into a marketing class in high schools now, they're doing PowerPoints and posters and making all that kind of stuff, when honestly, every single bit of my business, I do advertising on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I get tons of orders, and I do it all the time. I get people coming from across the country. I've had somebody from other countries asking me to make knives for them, and I go on these sort of people from Facebook. So when you're doing businesses, one of the most important things is to keep your costs down. When I make my knives, I make honestly probably about a 95% profit margin. That is the amount of money that you charge for an item minus the cost to make it. When you're a teenager, you can get a lot of free stuff, like I said. I go to my wood shop at school. I go in there every single day. I dumpster dive in school dumpsters, and I pull out wood that they throw away from the shop. I probably have enough wood in the back of my pickup in the parking garage to make probably about a couple thousand knives. And that is just from this week. Also, I have buddies that go on Facebook. People will meet me and they'll be like, man, you're 16, you're starting a business, that's really cool, and they'll give you stuff to do it. There comes a little bit of ethical decision making with taking all this free stuff from people. But in the end, if it helps start your business, it's definitely worth it. And a lot of people, when you see big businesses start up, a lot of people take out debt. This is also a good thing about being young and starting a business when you're young. People are more inclined to help you. If you go to somebody else who runs a business similar to yours, they're more likely to give you free classes to help you kind of be an apprentice. They'll help you give apprenticeships and stuff like that. Will get you out there and learning more about how to do your business, and they'll give you free stuff. I got my anvil that I have for forging. I got that from a guy that I sold the knife to. He met me. He's like, you made this, you're only 16. I have some stuff for you, I can also give it to you. So doing that is definitely worth it. So taking out money for loans, you don't really need to do it. That's one of the things that will kill businesses, get you in debt, and your business will not survive and thrive. So one of the best things to do is, like I said earlier, do a 1 to 2 to 3. You make an item, you sell an item, you do a service, and you keep on going up. Another thing is branding. When I do my knives, I'm not sure if it was, if I have a picture of it. On all my knives, I put a little symbol of I think I turned the maker's mark away. And on the other side of all these knives, there's a maker's mark of my blade. So always what you want to do is when you brand something, you want to be able to put out there something that you're proud of. And so if you put out there stuff that's half par, and people say, well, who made this? Putting your name on that, you always want to put your name on stuff, because people, in business, ego is sort of a thing you want to have. You want to have, this is something that I made, I'm very proud of it, this is my name. So when people say it, then that's really nice. They'll look online and they'll find it. I've had people that were buy my knives and they've gotten sold to other people, and they look me up and then they buy more knives. So it's kind of getting your name out there. And an easy way also as a young person to get a lot of community involvement and community buyers is if you donate stuff. I've donated to several different dinners and organizations, and say for rewards that people are getting, I will give them, hey, here's a blade. And people will come up to me after these meetings and ask for orders. This is getting really involved in your community, especially in a small business. Your community is probably one of your biggest markets for what you're doing. And so getting your community involved in your business is probably one of the most important things that you can do. Another thing that a lot of people that I see do wrong is when they start businesses, they take all their money out, and they spend it on lavish things that they don't need. When I started my business, for about the first 4 years, I took every single penny that I made out of a knife and I bought more tools. I upgraded my tools, I repaired my tools, I got better at what I was doing, I made practice things that I pretty much trashed. And so you go on and you need to invest back into your business. This is how you stay out of debt as a business. This debt is one of the biggest things that will kill a small company when they're first starting out. So when you start a business, all the money that you make initially really just needs to go back into your business. Another thing that is really important is charging for your time. A lot of people that I know, they'll say, oh man, I made a 90% profit margin on a $20 knife that took 5 hours to make. You're basically valuing your time at about $2 an hour, which is below the minimum wage. And especially as running your own business and doing all this stuff, you really need to come up with how much you want to pay yourself per hour. When you do this, you really need to incorporate that into your costs. And it's just being a mature company owner and not thinking, well, I just want money for next Tuesday so I can go to the mall. You want to have money, this is my company, this is how I'm going to say, this is how much my service is worth. And turning down people is something that can be really hard, especially when you're hurting for money, but it will lower the quality of your business. If people get around and hear, oh, this guy only sold this, he's selling me for 200, he sold this guy for 100, why is he doing this, why don't I get the same treatment? So starting a business when you're young is really important versus doing it when you get out of high school. Once you get out of high school, starting a business becomes incredibly harder because you're worried about things. You have to start paying taxes, you have to start thinking about when you go to college, you have to start saving up for a lot of things. And taking money out of your budget to start paying for starting up a business gets really hard to budget. But if you start before high school ends, you can start a company and take most of the money that you have, because most of the things that you need are pretty much right here. You have free housing, free transportation, free food. And so when you're sitting there and you say, well, if you have a part-time job, you make $200 a week or less than that, you can take that money and you can put it into a business that you can build slowly up and up and up. And my dream is that I'm working part-time now, this part-time at another job, that this blacksmithing business will be done, and by the time I'm out of high school, I can run this full-time. That's a dream of mine. It's probably not going to happen, but I can at least do it part-time. And so having a business out of high school will definitely help you if you are planning on being an entrepreneur, because being an entrepreneur is great because you get to have your own hours, your own paycheck, and you get to be your own boss, which is an amazing thing. Thank you.